everybody. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Yasmeen Ramadan, and I lead segment strategy for women's markets at MassMutual. And I'm joined today by Jennifer Halloran, the head of marketing and brand at MassMutual. We are very happy to be here today to shed some light on an important topic that very often gets overlooked. And that topic is why women should be selfish financially. So we're going to start by exploring some of the unique challenges that women face on the road to financial security, and we're going to offer some actionable advice on ways that we can all better prioritize our own financial well-being. So Jen, let's dive right in. Can you tell us why you selected this topic and why you think it's important?
Yeah, thanks, Yasmeen. I think this is an important topic because despite all of the progress that we have made in educational attainment and workforce participation, women today still lag far behind men in terms of retirement readiness. We are also far more likely to outlive our savings in retirement if we don't plan well. And this is a real challenge given the headwinds that women face as they seek to build wealth and financial security. So in short, it really is time for women to start putting their financial needs first. And part of my role at MassMutual is to make sure that we commit resources to research and understanding the financial needs that women have, which is important given that they are still underserved by the financial services industry. With these learnings, we can better inform our marketing campaigns and, more importantly, better address the specific financial challenges and opportunities that women face. As an example, one of the things we have found is that women are often inclined to put their loved ones' needs ahead of their own, even when it compromises their ability to meet their own financial goals. They dip into their emergency fund to help their kids pay off their credit card bills. Instead of contributing to their 401k, they use those funds for their kids' college tuition, and to help their aging parents cover their living expenses because they feel it's their duty, even when they can't necessarily afford to.
That's very interesting. Is that perhaps linked to the tendency of women to assume the role of caregiver in their families?
That's right. Women tend to put everyone else's needs ahead of their own, especially when it comes to money. And this is what tends to create the gap in their financial plan. Here are 5 reasons why we end up behind. 1, we have less saved for our retirement than men. A recent report found that women's average 401k account balance is roughly $88,000, compared with the men's average balance of $131,000. That makes women more vulnerable in the event of a divorce or premature death of a breadwinning spouse. 2, we need to have a larger base of savings because we live longer. According to the Centers for Disease Control, females born in 2018 will live to an average age of 81, compared to an age of 76 for men. So we need to stretch our savings a lot longer. 3, we're statistically more likely to take time out of the workplace to care for our children or aging parents, which derails both our earnings potential and our retirement savings. 4, we make less money. Despite the progress in the workforce, women still earn just 82 cents for every dollar a man earns, even at the same levels of education and experience. That affects the amount of disposable income we have to commit to our retirement savings. And because we get paid less, it takes us longer to pay off student loans, start long-term saving and investing, and ultimately delays our ability to build wealth. And last, women who are married to men tend to outlive their spouses, and as a result are much more likely to find themselves alone in elder years and require costly long-term care services. Net it all out, and we need more savings, but have less saved.
Wow. So the need to secure our financial future is very clear. From a practical standpoint, though, what advice do you have for women who wish to break that cycle and protect their own financial interests?
First and foremost, we can set reasonable limits with those we love. If we can't afford to help our sibling dig their way out of debt or pay for our parents' housing costs, say so and look for other ways to help. Resist the urge to raid your bank account or worse, your retirement account to help your child pay for a down payment on a home or pay for their college tuition if it means sacrificing your financial security. Remember, they can take out loans, and there are no loans for your retirement.
Wow, yeah, that perspective is so important. I've always heard that the best gift that you can give your children is providing for your own financial needs throughout retirement. It really does your kids no favors if you help them out financially today, but then outlive your savings, especially your daughters, who are statistically more likely to be the ones to quit their job to care for you.
That's true. And I want to be clear that being selfish does not mean that we leave our loved ones high and dry. There are many ways to support our friends and family that do not involve money. We can provide emotional support, we can help educate them on their financial options, research government safety net programs that may help them to make ends meet, and help them develop healthy saving and spending habits, or connect them with a financial advisor.
So it's not really being selfish per se, it's really about changing our mindset. So we still support the ones we love, but we really don't do it at the expense of our own financial well-being.
Exactly. And don't forget that by modeling good financial decision making, we also set an example for the next generation, especially for our daughters. It breaks that cycle of women putting their own financial priorities last.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Next, I would love to delve more deeply into some of the specific steps that women can actually take today to shore up their financial future. Jen, can you offer any advice there?
Yes, women can and should be proactive. They can start tracking their money that comes in and goes out every month so they can control their own budgets. Try using retirement planning calculators or speak with a financial advisor so you can understand their retirement savings needs. Set attainable goals. If you're only saving 5% of your salary towards retirement today, start increasing that by 1% a year, or apply annual bonuses or raises towards funding their retirement. Build an emergency fund that's equivalent to at least 3 to 6 months of living expenses to insulate against unexpected job loss or a major expense. This will avoid the dependence on high interest rate credit cards. And this is one lesson we have specifically seen recently in the way that many Americans reacted to the COVID-19 pandemic. If you do carry credit card debt, pay it down by starting with the highest interest rate card first and making minimum payments on all the others, which will bring their balance to zero. Being debt-free liberates your disposable income, which allows you to apply that money towards other financial goals.
That's great advice, Jen. And let me ask, given all these insights, can you share just briefly some of the specific steps that MassMutual, as a financial services provider, is taking to engage women and help them meet their needs?
Yeah, research is a key driver for us. By investing in proprietary research and surveys, using social media experiences to capture data, and mining for external insights, MassMutual is better positioned to understand the unique financial planning needs and the challenges that women face. With this, we're positioned to pivot quickly as the conversation evolves and make sure from a business and brand perspective, we are integrating these insights at every level of the marketing funnel. For example, market insights influence our concepts, tone, and scripts for our advertising, including TV, radio, and partnerships, which have helped us boost both brand consideration and awareness. The same research also informs our content marketing pipeline, so we produce targeted messaging that helps educate women about the need for retirement readiness while also presenting some real solutions that we can provide in terms of product and service offerings. At the other end of the funnel, we use this data that we mine to support our advisor community so they understand the personal finance hurdles that women face and are better positioned to strengthen those client-advisor relationships.
Thanks, Jen. We have a bit more time left in this breakout session, so we thought it might be fun to test the viewers' knowledge of the female market with a few quiz questions. And some of the answers might surprise you. So I'm going to ask everybody to go ahead and feel free to type your answers into the chat box. So the first question. Compared to their male counterparts, female investors have A, lower average portfolio returns, B, equal average portfolio returns, or C, better than average portfolio returns. We'll give you a second to type your answers into the chat box. What does everyone think? The answer is C. Female investors do self-describe as less confident than their male counterparts, and it's true that women tend to be less actively engaged in portfolio decision-making, but numerous studies have actually found that when women do invest, they outperform men. Why is that? Women are more likely to seek professional advice and select a balanced investment portfolio and stick with it. They don't, like many men, try to beat or time the market, which typically results in higher transaction fees and lower returns. And according to one recent study, female investors outperform male investors by an average of 40 basis points, or 0.4%, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it really packs a punch over time. Using current savings rates and a hypothetical salary of $50,000, the study found that women who start investing at age 22 would actually have $276,000 more socked away by age 67 than their male counterparts. Another study by Warwick Business School, sponsored by Barclays, found that female investors outperform men by an even bigger margin of 1.2%.
So that demonstrates very well that despite their reticence as investors, women do have the tools that they need to address their financial headwinds that they face. They need to put their money to work and learn to prioritize their own financial goals.
Yeah, absolutely. That's right. So, second question. By 2030, the total projected amount of household assets that will be controlled by women is A, 800 billion, B, 15 trillion, or C, 30 trillion. We'll give everyone just a second to type their answers into the chat box. What does everyone think? The answer is C. Today, women control 1/3 of total U.S. household financial assets of more than 10 trillion, but by 2030, American women will control a projected 30 trillion in financial assets through a potential wealth transfer that will approach the size of the annual GDP of the United States. Much of that transfer is going to occur when their spouses pass away and cede control of their jointly held assets. So, women control or will control far more personal wealth in this country than many people think. Question 3. From a life insurance planning perspective, women value the contribution they make to their family's financial well-being. A, more than men. B, half as much. Or C, slightly less than men. I'll give everyone a moment to type their answers into the chat box. What does everyone think? All right, the answer is actually B. Women really undervalue themselves in all of the unpaid work that they do, regardless of whether they're employed or stay at home full time. In a recent MassMutual survey, 67% of women said they had life insurance compared to 79% of men. And of those who had an individual life insurance policy, the women had an average coverage amount of about $230,000 compared to men who had an average amount of $420,000. So men valued their lives financially nearly 2 times more than women. This is important because women are far more likely than men to take time off from their careers to act as caregivers. Women take an average of 9 years out of the workforce to provide care to their children, aging parents, or family member with special needs. And caregivers, whether by choice or circumstance, perform a multitude of unpaid tasks that help stabilize their household income. A 2019 survey found that stay-at-home parents would earn nearly $178,000 per year in the workplace based on the salaries of jobs that reflect a day in the life of a mom or dad at home. So those duties include child care provider, academic advisor, facilities director, event planner, psychologist, dietitian, and laundry manager. That does not even include the savings they may garner by caring for their aging parents or in-laws.
And this ties so well into our narrative today about the importance of making ourselves a priority, of valuing our financial wellness, and to be better at drawing a line in the sand to say my financial goals are important too.
Thank you, Jen. That is all the time we have for today. I want to thank you, Jen, so much for initiating this dialogue around this important topic and for continuing to lead the charge for female financial empowerment at MassMutual. And thank you to everyone joining us virtually. Please visit our resource page for additional content, including a blog post on this very topic. We encourage you to share and discuss with the women that are closest to you, and we hope you enjoyed this session.